Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your guest host for today. My name is Dr. Nasir, and have we got something great on tap for you today? It's from the channel Vice, and they're asking a question at a focus group of American Asians. They invited them from both the left and the right in terms of their political and social ideologies. And folks, you've got to watch this all the way through. We're going to break it up into parts because it was about almost an hour long. So we're breaking up into various parts, and we're going to go to the part one of this, as you can see here. We're going to do that in the next few seconds. But before we do so, we just want to let you know, if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Comment below. Let us know what you think. Let's get to this focus group between Asian Americans or American Asians on the right and the left. We're going to do that right now.
All right, here we go. You guys feeling ready?
It's happening.
Hi, and welcome to our conversation about what it means to be Asian American. I'm Krishna. My parents came here from India. I was born here. So I identify as South Asian American or Asian American. And I just wanted to call out that, we're talking about the largest continent on the planet with multiple countries, ethnicities, sub-ethnicities within it. So we did our best to try to get a diverse mix of opinions and backgrounds on this panel, but you can't get everyone's opinion. So as we start, I want to get a quick poll. How many of you guys think the term Asian American is useful? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got a couple 50-50s. What about if we were to add Asian American Pacific Islander? I guess I'm curious to hear why, and maybe the way we can do that is going around the room and talking about who we are, where we came from, and what that term means to us, and what you think it might mean to the rest of the world. So.
I'm Yiling, and I would identify myself as an Asian American. I feel really strongly about being an immigrant. I'm first gen, or I say first and a half gen, because I was born in China, and then we immigrated to New York and then to San Francisco. And I think that the term Asian American is complicated because it applies to so many different identities, ethnicities, and cultures. It's a helpful term when you don't really know what else to you kind of just lump everybody into one term, and I don't think there's any issue with it being Asian American and Pacific Islander either, because that's just more inclusive in my opinion.
So there's a sense of community amongst people from different cultures.
Yeah, I think it's difficult because you can't really put it into words. It's applicable to such a wide range of things, and we're not a monolith.
It's complex.
Yes.
I was born in Manila, Philippines.
Interesting. And what does that heritage mean to you?
I'm a little conflicted because sometimes I just want to be American. I don't want to specify the fact that I'm Asian, but at the same time, it's like someone looks at you, they're going to say that you're Asian, so you say you're Asian American. I don't like the idea of separating the Pacific Islander just because for so long I was told I wasn't Asian, that I was a Pacific Islander. I just think it's all encompassing we are Asian.
Micah.
I feel very prideful about the Asian Pacific Islander. I live in San Diego now, but I'm originally from Honolulu, Hawaii, and my dad's born and raised from Kona. I am so close with my family. Just growing up, it's hard to explain, but being from Hawaii, the aloha spirit is real. Being around your family, having that common courtesy for community is just something that I'm really proud of.
And you feel like, as it relates to Asian American and Pacific Islander, these are two things that kind of go together in some ways?
Yeah, they do. They do.
How?
So the thing about Hawaii is that it's a really huge collection of different types of ethnicities, and there's a lot of Asian influence in Hawaii as well. A lot of different people who are there are from Korea, China, Japan, and so I just consider them family as well.
Well, good to meet you. Tell me about yourself, Vince.
Genetically, I'm a quarter Italian, 75% Vietnamese, but I am really with Teddy Roosevelt on this one. I don't believe in the hyphenated American thing. I identify as American. I consider myself an American. Sure, genetically, I'm mostly Asian. I don't go around thinking I'm an Asian American, because I think that, especially considering the fact that America today is increasingly a more and more diverse country, which is what it is, the only way that's going to hold together is if people can, to some extent, all identify as being part of the same nation, part of the same creed to an extent. I mean, that's just the way I would view it.
Vish, you're up.
I love this guy. This guy is incredible right here. He's absolutely incredible. I love this guy. That's what I've said all the time. I don't care what ethnicity or what heritage or what background you came from in the United States of America. We're all, you can say it's a melting pot. everybody, okay, spawned from people that, came here legally, immigrated here legally. But again, I don't care what it is. If you're Italian or you're Danish or you're English or you're Swedish or you're Middle Eastern or you're Jewish or you're Japanese or Chinese or Indian or Pakistani or African or Australian. I mean, you name the countries, what, over 200 countries out there. You're here in America. If you're a U.S. citizen and you're born here, obviously, first generation, second generation, American first. Then if you want to identify yourself, hey, be my guest. You want to call yourself, I'm American, Italian, German, Danish, because I've got that bloodline in me, the DNA is there, perfectly fine. And hit it right on the head here. America is about, it's an idea, an ideal. All right? It's not a race. There's no genetics. You don't have to be, there's no DNA specifically coded to being American. All right? Just simple as that. Anyways, let's continue.
Is increasingly a more and more diverse country, which is what it is. The only way that's going to hold together is if people can, to some extent, all identify as being part of the same nation, part of the same creed to an extent. I mean, that's just the way I would view it.
Vish, you're up.
I'm 100% Hindu Indian American. I was born in Brooklyn. My parents are from India. I personally just describe myself as American. I find, like Vince said, the hyphenated American thing, I think it's by definition divisive when you're dividing the identity. I prefer to call myself American. I don't call myself Indian American, Asian American, though when people ask like, oh, well, what are you? I'll say, well, I'm of Indian heritage, but I was born in Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
I proudly identify as Asian American. I also, like my experience, my mom is from Japan. She immigrated to America. So I do truly feel that I am a part of the Asian American experience where, at home, it's a Japanese household. It's a Japanese culture because I was predominantly also raised by my mom too. And then also we happen to live in America. And I think there is a very unique perspective in that. As well as I'm a proud Asian American, I'm a proud Black American too. I'm a proud biracial American. And I think there is definitely also a need for us to be able to say Asian American, especially because we are often seen as not American or not American enough. But then you go back to Asia and they're like, oh, you're so American. So it's just like, well, who am I?
Being between cultures in a way, or straddling cultures, being part of two cultures.
Yeah, being part of two cultures. I'm Asian, I'm American, I'm Asian American.
Well, nice to meet you. Joyce.
Just want to comment a little bit on her. I can understand how people get that way, but I think parents, when they come here and they've immigrated this country, I think they really need to teach their children that they are Americans first. That's the reason why you came to America, because it was something here that enticed you, that you came here for, an education, for financial reasons, to escape, poverty, to escape, whatever it was, that you were leaving from. So in her case, like she's Japanese and Black. First thing American, then Japanese and Black. Now the question would be is that somebody could say, well, are you more Black than Japanese? Are you more, Hispanic than you are, Irish or whatever? That's totally up to you, depending upon how you want to go ahead and put that hyphen after, as I said, after you say American first and go from there.
A Taiwanese Asian American. I identify as Asian American, but at the same time, I think the term Asian American and Asian Pacific Islander, they have to be separated because when we go to colleges and apply to get in, we're on different socioeconomic pathways. So actually the term Asian Pacific Islander would actually get you in more than someone just does East Asian, because I believe now they separate the two.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, and I think that's what we'll try to do today. But it's good to meet you. I guess this is a funny question, but do you think the average American, when meeting you, would be like, oh yeah, you're Taiwanese?
No, they think I'm Chinese. Japanese or Korean, but basically I'm Asian. They always ask where am I from because of the way I look.
And they ask where are you really from?
Yes. And I'm always, I'm American.
I get that a lot too. Helen.
Hi, my name is Ellen. I'm Korean American. I came from Korea when I was 8 years old, got on a plane by myself, not speaking a word of English, didn't know white people were real. For me, it was huge culture shock. My parents had already immigrated, so I was joining them. I like to be identifying myself as a Korean American woman, and I recognize the importance of Asian American Pacific Islander. Definitions are always constantly changing as we as society constantly evolving. I don't like to just consider myself American because when anybody in this country looks at me, they don't just see American. They always see Asian first. Instead of using that as a thing that holds me back, I say it proudly. And it's taken time to accept my identity, to really know that that's sort of an umbrella term to open the door into the conversation. I know it's not possible to encompass all of us because Asia's so big, right? But in order for us to be seen and heard, we have to start somewhere. So I think it's a good term for that.
Yeah.
To be seen and heard, the good term would be is basically American. All these people that basically identify, I've very rarely heard anybody, the first thing they start looking at you and they're trying to think, okay, like, where you're from or whatever. I don't know where this is. I mean, I guess it does happen. Obviously, these people are saying it does. But the fact of the matter is, that would, I think, would be a great conversation piece. Yeah, you know what? I'm American. I've been here. If the conversation comes up that way, I was born in China or Japan or Asia or some other country, and she has a great story. Was 8 years old, came here by herself. My question is, what happened? I mean, why did you have to come here on a plane by yourself? Oh, because my parents were already here, and then I came over. Oh wow, well, that must have been interesting. I mean, do you remember what it was like? I mean, those are the kind of questions. At that point in time, it's just two human beings talking. But now you want to assign, racial motives or, some subterfuge, underneath. Why are they asking all these kind of questions? There must be some other reason. It's got to be racial or bigoted or, Asiaphobic of some kind. That's where most of the stuff happens when you talk to some of these leftists, these woke liberals, social justice warriors, which I'm sure a lot of these people, probably are.
Ziad, I use he, him pronouns, and I am Bangladeshi American, and I'm Asian American. The reason why I, is lukewarm about the term Asian American insofar as its usefulness is that I don't actually often refer to myself as Asian American, despite fully believing that I am, because to Yuling's point, oftentimes I think people have a perception of what Asian American looks like, right? And sometimes that leaves out South Asians, sometimes that leaves out Central Asians, sometimes that leaves out huge parts of the world. Me personally, I lean into my hyphenated identities, right? I am American, and I am Muslim, and I am Bangladeshi, and I am Asian, right? And I am all of these things at once, and I'm not one more than the other, but I take pride in all of these things, and I think that for me, I find power in that insofar as when I look at this country, I think it is so damaging, right? So saddening that sometimes this country makes us choose.
I mean, what you point out is that
No one's making you choose there, Ahmed. I mean, come on, man. No one's making you choose. But you know what? Listen, everybody has their own way of expressing himself. I personally think, as I've said so many times, we're American first. After that, put in whatever you want to do. He basically has, a mixture, Bangladeshi, Asian, South Asian, all of that. So, I mean, it's all right. But the thing is, if you want to rally around a common criteria for a nation, let's start with, who we actually are, and then we can, build off of that.
kind of all have a dual consciousness or are dual citizens of this country and the world, which is to say we go home, we might have a different culture, a different food, a different language that we speak. We go to school and we have friends who might not share or understand what that language culture is, and we have a desire to both be true to the heritage, but then also be accepted, successful, and otherwise in the non-Asian American world that we live in. Assimilation. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a burden? Is it an opportunity?
Assimilation.
So I'm going to end it right here, and we'll start with part 2 with following up this question on assimilation. But I think it was a nice opening round here in terms of getting to know everybody. The question of, what are you? Do you consider yourself to be more Asian, or do you consider yourself to be more American? I would probably say it depends upon the age of people too when they came here. I would think if people born here, like a couple of gentlemen in the clip said, that they felt that they always identified themselves as American first, whereas you found that some of the people that came here as children or a little bit later on identify themselves, from their Asian heritage first, and then put the American there as on the background or whatever. And you could already see right now the formation or the assemblings of who is going to be leftist, who looks like they're a little bit more on the conservative side. Who is a little bit more of the social justice warriors. The girl with the purple, I think that's going to be quite interesting. And the person on the left, I think Riaz or whatever, the person who said he was a Bangladeshi, ethnicity or whatever. I think those are going to be some key things. And also the gentleman Vince, I believe, in the suit. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Sheikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. We'd love for you to hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Let us know what you think. What do you think? American first, hyphenated with heritage afterwards? Or do you agree with some of the other ones that, identify yourself culturally, ethnicity-wise, heritage-wise, DNA-wise first, and then put the American afterwards? Love to know what you think. And I'll tell you what my final thought is, which is, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.